This week, man, this week has honestly been just a roller coaster of emotions. Rewind back to just Monday of this week, and everybody was excited for the Switch 2 Direct. After years of speculation, rumors, and just pure pandemonium, we were going to finally get its official reveal, and quite frankly, the reveal itself was fairly good. I mean, there's a new Mario Kart game. It looks really good. There's a new Kirby developed by Sakurai, out of all people. Metroid Prime 4 looks fantastic. Pokemon Legends EA will be the first Pokemon to run at 60 FPS in a very, very long time. There's a new 3D Donkey Kong game, for crying out loud. It's been nearly 30 years since the last 3D Donkey Kong game. So just from a pure games perspective, there's a lot to be excited about. But then, Nintendo kind of fumbled that momentum when they revealed game prices would go all the way up to $80 a pop. They completely skipped the $70 rhetoric. And then suddenly everybody was mad. And they're infiltrating Nintendo Treehouse streams to chant, "Drop the price, drop the price." They're seemingly a boycott in the works. Fans are furious. And we're getting reports that Nintendo is in crisis mode. I mean, the craziness of this reveal is all over the place. But somehow, when you didn't think things could get worse, somehow and in some way, things actually got even crazier. Today, Nintendo announced an absolute shocker. We've never seen something like this before in the game industry, because just days after the Switch 2 reveal, Nintendo announced that they're going to delay their pre-orders in the United States. And this isn't because of backlash from fans or anything like that. This doesn't indicate a price decrease, but rather this is the result of the sequence of events that's been at the center of great discussion for a better part of the year. Much like a lot of the tech companies right now, Nintendo is concerned about the ongoing tariff situation imposed by the United States and how that will impact their business. So it's actually more likely that prices will go up and not down. Now, there's a lot of nuance to this situation, though, and if there's anything to take away from today's video, and really what I just want to tell you all is that it's not time to freak out quite just yet. Now, yet is the key word here, but this is a situation that is very fluid, and there's a lot of uncertainty right now. And I think that's the best way that I can preface this topic. I mean, unfortunately, when it comes to politically driven topics, which is, always uncomfortable discourse, so I can only imagine how the comments are going to play out in this video. I know everybody has their own point of view, and you can believe whatever you want. That's perfectly fine. But the reality is that politics are kind of smashing into the tech business right now, or in this situation, into gaming. So we do have to talk about it, even if it might be a somewhat uncomfortable conversation. What's happening here, though, is that Nintendo is launching a new console amidst a very fluid political battle. But I don't want to just freak everybody out for the sake of freaking everybody out, or, again, at least yet. Yet really is the key word for this video. Yes, the price of the Switch 2 could go up, but there's also an indication that this could result in really a big nothing burger. And we're going to get into that in just really every little detail that we can today. I want to kind of ease everybody's emotions as we head into the weekend. So we're going to dive into all of the different aspects of what's happening and how this could potentially play out. Now, first, though, before I go any further, I do want to thank my amazing supporters on Patreon and on YouTube memberships. You all are just absolutely awesome, and I truly do mean that. I can't thank you all enough, but seriously, thank you. Thank you so much for what you do. Okay, so let's just go and get right into Nintendo's announcement. This dropped in the morning, just really kind of out of nowhere, and immediately it caused hysteria. Now, that's also why you have me, because I can add a little bit more context to simmer down some of the emotions. But nonetheless, they said, and I quote, "Pre-orders for Nintendo Switch 2 in the United States will not start on April 9th of 2025 in order to assess the potential impact of tariffs and evolving market conditions." Evolving market conditions really is a good way of putting it. Now, they reassured fans that this will not impact its release. It's still set for June 5th, and pre-orders will go live before then. It's just not going to go live on April 9th as initially planned. And there's a reason for that. If we rewind back to 2019, yeah, we have to go way back here, but Nintendo used to manufacture Switch parts over in China. A lot of these tech companies use these Asian assemblies because it keeps the cost of their products down. However, with the rise of tariffs on China, companies like Nintendo moved their manufacturing to other countries, and Nintendo went over to Vietnam. Well, unfortunately for them, amidst their announcement for the Switch 2, Vietnam was just hit with, I believe it's a 46% tariff. Correct me if I'm wrong about that number. But of course, Vietnam, they have tariffs on the United States as well. So that's kind of the current situation. There's some negotiation tactics being used as this trade war goes on with all of these different countries. But for any of these tech companies, that obviously causes a lot of uncertainty, including for fans that are excited for said products. Nobody, including these companies, knows how this situation is going to play out. And that's the number one thing that everybody needs to understand about how Nintendo announced this today. What they didn't do is what a lot of people are currently assuming that they'll do, and that's that they'll raise prices. Now, that could very well possibly be the outcome. That is a very real possibility. But I also know with 100% certainty that Nintendo does not want to raise prices if they don't have to. Logically speaking, they chose $450 for a reason. And that's because they believe that will give them the best opportunity for success. If they wanted to charge more, well, then they would have already announced it. They could have announced that today. However, Nintendo understands that that will impact their business in more than likely a negative way. So they don't want to raise the price if they don't have to. They already chose that $450 price tag strategically. And that's also why they haven't announced a price increase as of this moment. So this, to me, this announcement more so reads as we're taking a step back to see how this situation plays out, because Nintendo understands that it's a fluid situation. And that's what a lot of people, I think, don't really understand as of right now. Things are changing rapidly. This could change on a dime. And in fact, it was also announced today that the United States and Vietnam are having positive negotiations regarding tariffs. This comes from Trump. I believe it's over on Truth Social. I don't know what that is. It's on another form of social media, I guess. But importantly, this post has been verified. And he said, just had a very productive call with the General Secretary of Vietnam, who told me that Vietnam wants to cut their tariffs down to zero if they are able to make an agreement with the United States. I thanked him on behalf of our country and said I look forward to meeting in the near future. So again, it feels kind of strange to talk about politics while talking about gaming. This is not a super comfortable conversation to have. But the reality is that politics are smashing into gaming. So no matter how you feel about this political figure or that political figure, I'm not telling you how to feel one way or the other. That's up to you. But it's important for this topic today. That's why we're talking about it, and that's why we're quoting this. It impacts the Switch 2 and its potential price. However, as long as this information holds true, this could potentially be a good sign for Nintendo and for fans that are excited for the Switch 2. As long as the United States and Vietnam can come to some kind of an agreement that works for both parties, then the price for the Switch 2 theoretically should go unaffected. It would mean that it will remain at $450. Now, then at that point, fans can kind of once again be outraged over the $80 game prices as they were before. The Nintendo Treehouse stream today was once again infested by those chants of drop the price, drop the price. But like I said before, this really is a fluid situation. I don't think anybody really knows how this is going to play out, including Nintendo themselves. That's why they're taking a step back before they make an official announcement. Now, hopefully, we will get our answer soon enough. We have almost exactly 2 months between now and the release for the Switch 2. So I'm hoping this situation works itself out really here within the coming weeks. Apparently, negotiations are rapidly moving. Hopefully that's true, because if Nintendo doesn't have their answer by a certain point, I do kind of wonder how they'll deal with this situation. Will they temporarily keep the prices at $450, or will they instead raise the price temporarily until they get their answer? I mean, they have to open pre-orders at some point, so they can't just sit on this problem forever. retail chains, for that matter, in the United States, probably aren't exactly thrilled by this delay. They all have to work together with their marketing and release dates and things like that. So I know they all want to open those pre-orders as soon as possible. So maybe the situation will get worked out by next week, and then Nintendo can announce their plans for pre-orders. For the time being, though, emotions are currently high. The tension is high right now. So if anything else, I hope I've been able to ease some of those emotions by just really kind of explaining everything that's been happening. It's a nuanced topic. It's a controversial topic. But, we can all freak out together if things take a turn for the worse. Let's just kind of hope that it doesn't come to that. But I'd say for today, there are reasons to just kind of see how this situation plays out before we freak out. Again, yet is the key word for this video, because there's definitely uncertainty. There's no doubt about that. But I don't want you all to go into the weekend with all hope lost. There's nothing definitive to announce just yet. Let me know what you all think about this, though. Make some predictions in the comments below. How do you think this is all going to play out? Do you think that price will remain the same? Do you think the price will go up? Let me hear it in the comments below. Just do one thing for me, though. I know the emotions are high right now, but try to keep things civil in the comments, please. Like I get it, but be nice to each other. I get so tired of the toxicity online. It wears on me sometimes. So just have civil conversations. That's all I ask. Anyways, though, that's going to be it for this video. But until next time, make sure to subscribe, ring that bell, and peace out.